queens, sisters manifesting their dreams. Get your cream by any means and beam with self-esteem. Beauty supreme and booty walk so mean. The way you fit in them jeans, you eat your cornbread and greens. Dance or a doctor, red wine or vodka. Redesign your spot and redefine your mantra. Retwist your locks and realign your chakras. Doing your squats and getting closer to God, huh? Brunching with your squad or taking a girl's trip. Adjust your crown, you God's gift to the world, sis. Celestial body, drink your water. Meditate, sun kiss got his heavenly order. Levitate, tribe of Ashanti. Black girl magic, melanin popping. Whether you ratchet or lavish, whether you bougie or savage, you a gift and a treasure. You got to love a black girl getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, man. These black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, dog. When God made you, boo, you know he showed out. Mahogany enchantress, blessings overflow now. Picture of success, seductive silhouettes on a spiritual quest. Manifest and be blessed. Mother, sister, auntie, tribe of Ashanti. Rocking your locks, I got a close crop blondie. The curse and the gift, uplift, apply pressure. Nothing like a black girl getting a shift together. Nothing like a black girl getting a shift together. Nothing like a black girl getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together, man. These black girls are getting a shift together, man. These black girls are getting a shift together.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Black Girls Getting Their Shift Together. I'm your host, Ursula. I'm a transformation life coach, as well as an advocate for anything and everything mental health and wellness. Remember, whenever you can identify the problem or issue is when you can start to heal. Thank you so much for joining me. This is season 2. We have 3 more episodes left, and then we are on hiatus for just a month. But I'm very excited. This is a very good episode that we have coming on. But before we get into that, I just want to let everyone know to tune in and look at my website, which is blackgirlsgettingtheirshifttogether.com. On that website, I have merch, as you can see. Plenty of t-shirts with different sayings, motivation, positive sayings, as well as it talks about my group and one-on-one VIP coaching. So go on and check it out. I know you'll love it. We're going to get right into this episode tonight. Let me pull everything up. I have this awesome brother in the waiting room. I'm going to let him tell you more about himself than I am because he's very powerful. So I'm going to bring Mr. James Hutchings right into the stream. Hello, my friend. How are you?
Hello. How you doing, Miss Ursula? How you doing? Hello, world.
I'm doing so well. I just want to thank you again for agreeing to come on. You know, you are doing some amazing things on this planet. So thank you in advance.
I'm grateful. Thank you. It's an honor and a pleasure to be on your show as well. I appreciate it. Thank you.
So let me show you how dedicated this brother is to sharing the word of his organization, which we're going to get into in a second. Right now, he is in the car waiting on his son during football practice. Is that multitasking or what? Yeah, he's being a father and he's getting the word out. So again, thank you for taking time out of daddy duties. I appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for allowing me to, have my little daddy duties in the middle of it. So I appreciate you for allowing me to do that.
Great. So we're going to get right into this since I know you are on daddy duty. Can you tell everyone, we're going to go back and then we're going to work our way forward in your life. But before we do, can you tell everybody the name of your organization?
Yes, the name of my organization is called Incarcerated Males and Females Incorporated, and I'm a 501c3 nonprofit organization. And my movement is called Incarcerated Lives Matter.
Okay. And where are you located?
We're based out of the Washington, D.C. area. Well,
That's
we
at
call it
the
kind of
moment.
now the DMV. We got D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. That's close, in a radius of like 15 miles. So that's where I'm
You
located
know,
at.
I'm going to tell you something. It must be something in the DMV water because the majority of my guests have been located in the DMV.
Yeah, I guess we rocking right now. That's good. I would say to have an honor to be on your show. So yeah, I guess we doing something right.
I think so. So we're going to get into your bio. And in your bio, you mentioned that you grew up watching the illusion of street life. What does that mean?
Well, basically, I was born 1981, so my growing up time was around, when it was the crack era in this area of DC and Maryland and Virginia area. So seeing a lot of guys, and I had an older sister, and my older sister, she had a couple of boyfriends that was, in the game, I would say, or was called like drug, in the drug trade or whatever. So, that illusion of that was illusion as a young boy that I seen, hands on. And then also the neighborhood I was in, I'm the youngest of three kids. I'm the baby boy, so it was just me, experiencing seeing things outside, watching Boys in the Hood, you know what I'm saying? That kind of put me in my illusional thought process as well. That kind of helped it, I would say, back then. Being a kid, just liking the gangster rap stuff, and that's how I kind of got into the illusional thought process of being involved in the drug trade at a young age.
Mm. So it was more up here than more than what you were you I know you saw it, but were you living it as well?
Oh yeah, I actually I caught my first um actual charge at the age of 14. Um, I was actually from my actual stepfather. He actually called the police on me because he found a pistol in the house with also some
Mm.
baggies of crack cocaine. And my stepfather, I used to find things of his. He was recovering. He was a heroin addict. So I would
Mhm.
find needles and bottle caps with ashes in them and things of that nature. And I would never tell on him. So, that's part of kind of, you know, my story as well, as far as, I lost trust in someone because I really looked up to him when I was a young man. And he's the reason why I like the LA Lakers and the Washington Redskins in sports. Because he came into my life and that's what he showed me in my household. And by him, reporting that gun to the police without just letting me know about it, I kind of didn't take that well as a kid. And that was my actual first charge at the age of 14 years old.
Wow. Were you more shocked than hurt or hurt
Yeah, I
than
was
shocked?
yeah, I was more shocked than hurt because like I say, I looked up to him as a father figure to me. I have my own biological father as well, but my biological father wasn't really in my life like he was for my sister and brother because him and my mother already had got divorced by the time, I was growing up. So, our relationship really wasn't too fine. But me and my stepfather relationship was, I would say, he taught me a lot of things at a young age that I still use to this day, So, I kind of looked up to him until that,
Right.
until then, when he did that, it kind of, at a young age, I kind of cut him off. Like, I couldn't trust him no more. And, I kind of took that with me going into my life, becoming a young man, after
Um,
him doing that.
do you all keep in contact now? Is he still with us?
Nah, he did my mother wrong after that. So, at the end of the day, now he get double me not messing with him. You know what I'm saying? Him and my mother got divorced later on in life. I think I was probably what I would say 18 or 19 when they got divorced. Um,
Hmm.
from being married. And yeah, that was like a stamp on it, or what I used to tell my mother. How I was always me and my mother's real close, so I used to express to her how much I didn't like what he did, and like, because I was looking at it like this: I could have told on the things that I found as a kid, needles and things like that, but I didn't. So he did recover and go to rehab and got off that stuff, but I just felt betrayed when he actually called the police on me about a pistol. I mean, as a young, I shouldn't have had a pistol in the house anyway. But as a young man, I wasn't thinking like that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
You're still a child. Did you regret not telling your mom on the items that you found?
Um. Yeah. Nah, because I think I never was a snitch. I mean, I ain't gonna say a snitch, but I think I never was like a person, a tattleteller. So I kind of take honor with that, and that's what I live with by the day today. Even though today, you know what I'm saying, I take honor in not really telling on someone, and allow someone to tell on themselves or get caught up on their own. You know what I'm saying? Before I be the person that makes that judgment on them. You know what I'm saying? I leave that to God. You know what I'm saying? So I kind
Mhm.
of don't regret it at all of not telling my mother
Mhm.
about his drugs I found, back when I was a young kid.
Right. How long were you incarcerated the first time?
Oh, the first time they actually dropped that case, when I was 14. I told him I found the pistol on the railroad tracks, and the officer, he felt that I was lying, but I couldn't give him anything else he wanted, so they actually dropped the case. And then later on, when I was at the age of 16, I caught my first real case where I had to do juvenile time, and I missed my oldest daughter being born because I was incarcerated in juvenile.
So what was that charge?
That charge was possession with attempt to distribute crack cocaine. I
Mhm.
caught that at the age of 16 in 1997, and I think I believe I had like a 62 ounces worth of 62 grams worth of crack cocaine,
Mhm.
involved with a sale to an undercover police back in Alexandria, Virginia. And come on, get in the car. So when I actually caught that case, I had to do some juvenile time. And I believe I did like 7 months, 6 or 7 months, and I had a whole lot of probation after I got released out of juvenile. And you know, when I caught that case, I never sold crack cocaine again in my life, but I went to another drug thinking that it was a lesser charge, which was marijuana. So I changed my drug mindset of crack cocaine being a crack cocaine dealer to a marijuana dealer. And as me thinking, people don't get a lot of time for marijuana, but you still gonna make the same type of. I was a money guy. You still make the same type of money dealing with marijuana. So I never touched crack cocaine again after that time that I did get arrested for crack cocaine, and I started to explore the marijuana trade
Mhm.
and parenthood at the same time. So that's how that started up.
Right. Man, I know you hated when you found out that was an undercover police officer. Ah,
Oh yeah, that was like the worst feeling ever. That was again, me seeing people that I'm thinking that I'm cool with, and then they just put your hands up. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's betrayal. It's a sign of betrayal, and you take that with you. I mean, I still remember that day to this day. Now I'm 40 years old now, so
do you mind
yeah,
briefly talking about that day?
yeah. That day was it was a day I was in Alexandria, Virginia. At that time I was running a crack house, I would say, where I was selling crack cocaine, hand in hand. And one of the individuals that was so-called supposed to have been a crackhead, what we call it, which is a drug user that uses crack cocaine. Um,
Mhm.
I served him. Right after I served him, I seen he was all on the phone while I was serving him. I guess he was recording. I don't know what they was doing, but I served him. Went outside, got in the vehicle. I had other people with me. They swarmed the car, jump outs, police, all that, swarmed the car. I had the crack cocaine in my pocket and underneath, I tried to put it underneath my seat. Well, they probably could have shot because I'm moving in the car when they all
Oh
pointing their
my
guns at the car.
God. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 14 years old. Everybody else that's in the car is because I'm 16 years old. Everybody else in the car was older than me because I was the youngest, like I said, of I hung with a lot of older guys. So, I'm in there, you know, um, they locked us up, and then the first thing that they tell you or they teach you when you in the drug trade, if you're dealing with somebody that's firm in the drug trade and they know what you got to do is don't say anything until you see your lawyer. So
Oh, we lost him. He must have had a bad connection. So what I will stay on. Hopefully he can be able to log back on. Let's see. I have faith that he is. See, there we go. I knew he'd come back on.
hello.
No. I told you he'd come back on. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh, no
Yeah,
worries.
I'm here.
No
My
worries. So you
apologies.
said
Like I
it's okay. So you said you hung with a lot of older men.
yeah, I was the youngest out of the whole crew. Yep. But I was the youngest, but I was like kind of in charge of stuff. I don't know why I was in charge of things, but I was the youngest and smallest guy. But I just had a thing with numbers. I was real good at math, and I just had that mindset of I guess a hustler or entrepreneur type of attitude. So
But you see how it carried
yep.
over to what you're doing right now.
Oh
It
yeah,
was already in you.
it definitely carried over to it. Yeah, it's just it's now it's in a positive way, and it's been like that for
Exactly.
years now. It gave me the consequences of what goes with that lifestyle of that type of lifestyle. I had to deal with the consequences. So I'm glad that I ain't gonna say I'm glad. Yeah, I am glad that I kind of got caught, so I will understand the consequences that you had to deal with. When you do play on that side of the game. So by me having those type of experiences with the drug trade and the severe consequences that come with the drug trade when you do wrong, it kind of keeps my everyday life, a little more better and know what not and what to do, because I've been at the worst, in belly of the beast, dealing with people that don't care for you. And like I say, I call it illusional thinking when you in that lifestyle. But I
Right.
made it through, I made it out. And now, I still, have my entrepreneurship and my hustling skills, but it's for a positive product. That product is not illegal. So, that's a great I believe that's a great thing that I do have in me that I appreciate. I'm grateful for.
Absolutely. So let's talk about when you were 30 years old and that conviction you said you had at 30.
Yeah, I had my daughter. That was when I first started to be a parent. Um, my daughter, she's now 23 years old. However, though, I missed her. Like I said, I missed her birth, and she didn't get my last name because I missed her birth, so I wasn't on the birth certificate. So her last name is actually Green to this day. But you know, um, me going into parenting when I did get released, that kind of changed my mindset of not, you know, just worrying about myself or caring about myself, but it actually made me do more things to get money though in the drug trade. You know what I'm saying? Because I felt that I had to raise someone now, so that gave me more of a mindset that I can't be a broke guy trying to raise a child. So I had to, get back into
And he's gone again. He will come back. He will come back. So till he does log back on, part of his bio, he said that he Oh, he's back. I'll let him tell it.
Yeah, I'm
James,
apologizing. Yes.
no worries. So, can we talk about when you were incarcerated? And when I say the things you saw, not the everyday things and situations that you saw, but just how different inmates were being treated, you know, as far as them not receiving any kind of financial support from friends and family. Can you talk about that? Can you hear me?
The service
Can
is
you hear
messed up.
me?
Now I can't hear. The phone is like messing up. I couldn't hear nothing you was just saying.
Okay. You want to
I'm in the
log
same
out?
location though. I don't know why the phone's acting like this right now.
Let
I'm
me
gonna move
send
right to
you.
right here. Can you hear me better now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I, yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you. I'm gonna
Oh,
sit
okay,
right here.
perfect.
This is where I can hear you completely.
James, you better not
Now, what
move
was the question?
anymore.
Sorry about that. No, I'm
The
not
question
moving.
I
I'm
asked
sitting right
you,
here.
good. When you were incarcerated, can you talk about the situations you saw as far as lack of financial support that you've seen other incarcerated men having, or the lack from their friends and family?
This phone ain't working. How the heck this thing go off like this?
We're just having some technical difficulties, everyone. Just hang in there. It is all right, James.
Yeah, I'm back now. I couldn't hear nothing that you were just saying, but I know you said something about how did I see the guys that was incarcerated while I was incarcerated with them.
Right, the financial aspect of it when they didn't have enough money on their books.
Oh yes, that actually came upon when I went to incarceration when I became an adult. When I was in the juvenile, my mind really wasn't seeing that as far as the guys that was in there that wasn't, financially stable or losing their finances. I came up with that mindset when I years later when I got indicted for my conviction that I had to go to jail for 4 years for, which I had got a 20-year sentence. That was in 2012 at the age of 30 years old. Um, Now while I was in there, I seen a lot of guys that was in there with me that may have lost their support system through death because they've been down so long or just didn't have a support system at all. And I told myself while I was in there that once I get home, because I did have an out date, that I would help, those less fortunate guys, to kind of be a spark to their heart to change their mindset of doing what they have to do, to get in where they fit in by not having any support. So I said what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pay those guys when I get home $50 a month, you know what I'm saying, to try to get them hope of knowing that they have actually somebody out there helping them out that really don't know them. So it might change their mindset when they talk on the phone of being bitter or anybody on the outside, or when they do get released, if they do have a release date, they don't be bitter and then do the revolving door of recidivism. You know what I'm saying? That's at an all-time high in our communities. So I say, that might change their spark. That might just be a spark to their heart to change, when they have financial support. So when I got released on my 4 year sentence, I started the thing called Incarcerated Lives Matter. And my first day out, I got some T-shirts that said Incarcerated Lives Matter. I took my kids out with me, and we went and sold bottled waters on the corner to raise the money for the guys that's incarcerated. And the response that I got after I, raised some money for them, paid my kids some money for holding the bottled waters up, the response from the inmates that I knew that was like the bad of the baddest in there. But once I was able to give them financial support and their change, it was like an instant change of
How was it
different.
changing them?
It's like they got their glow back. They got their confidence back. They got their hope back. No, not thinking or being bitter on the world. Thinking everybody left them behind. So I could see that in the letters that they was writing me and the emails that I was getting from them from the actual guys that I had just left the spread from, when I just was sending them just $50. You know, it's like $50 was like almost like $1,000,000 to them. It just changed the spark of, I could see it in them. I could just hear it in them. Their conversation was more better. They wasn't bitter. They wasn't, going to the store box, man, no more. But they got this thing called store box when you in prison.
What is that?
You go to a guy, you buy your item, but when the store day comes, you got to give them 2 or 3 items back in return for that one item that you borrowed. So, you can pile a bill up fast with just that. You know what I'm saying? You keep going to the store box, man, because you're trying to eat. So, seeing that stuff, it's like, that that's a spark to somebody having to get in some type of trouble. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not getting paid at no job, and the highest paying job in incarceration is 27 cents an hour. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
That really doesn't go anywhere. So, you can run that bill up, and then that person that you going to, that store box, man, wants his money. So, that can start to, that could be, some type of danger, or that can be some type of, you get going to the hole because you don't want to pay the guy. It just can lead to a lot of stuff that can lead to it can get worse. It can get real bad. So, seeing those guys being to change their heart, and then I would ask them too, like, send me an essay per month so they can kind of feel like they're getting a sedative, you know what I mean? As far as send me an essay per month on how life is while you're incarcerated, what your family's going through, so they can kind of get that stuff out of them that they have so much built inside of them. You know what I'm saying? And them sending me their lifetime stories, or what they've been going through, what they've been getting off their chest on ink and on paper. I told them I wasn't gonna never read their stories, because I was gonna come out with a book later on where their stories can be revealed to that next person that's either doing criminal activity, that don't know that side of the game. They only know the glamour side. They can kind of read that book and see how it really is once you go behind those walls. And they might change their mind on doing criminal stuff, because people don't talk about that you might be forced, you know what I'm saying, to change your religion, or force your sexuality, or forced to be a killer, or forced to be things that you got to be forced to because you're incarcerated now. You know what I'm saying? So, they always talk about the glamour side of doing street things, getting all this money and stuff, but nobody talks about the consequence, the isolation of time, the idle time when you by yourself, nothing but grown men is around you. If you're a young guy that has to go in there around these grown men, they don't speak on that, so getting those guys to let that stuff out, and to write it down on an essay per month. And the book was going to be called The Life Stories, The Real Stories of Incarcerated Lives. And it just kind of gives, or somebody that's brand new to the system, they could read the book and kind of see how to move and maneuver. You know what I'm saying? Once they get in there.
I love that. I love that part. Man, I can't wait for that book to come out. That is very interesting.
Yeah, I have a pile of letters that's just piled up, because it's gonna be real stuff. Because I always have, when they sign up for the services, I have them sign a consent form. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna use their actual names, but I use the actual stories. You know what I'm saying? And people need to hear that. Even people on the outside need to hear that, because some people have loved ones that they really don't understand what their loved ones really going through while they're incarcerated, and they just going off the freedom that they have, and they put it in perspective when they talk to them on the phone, or not really understanding what that loved one is really going through by being incarcerated. So that can help families be that bridge to that gap that the system is set up for, to separate the family, because I know all these things because I was front hand dealing with it myself, and also seeing others deal with it as well in front of me. So I just want to be a spark to change. Just change the narrative a little bit of how they look at us people that's been incarcerated before.
So speaking of that spark, I found that interesting how you said the day you got out, you went right out in the streets raising money. Like, how did that make you feel, giving back literally when you got out?
It made me feel very, very happy. It put a smile on my face. And it's something that kept me motivated, to kind of put my past life behind me and know that I'm helping the next man up. You know what I'm saying? Because if I change my ways and when I come and when I be released, it'd be easier for the next guy that probation or parole officer got to deal with. You know what I'm saying? If they having a good time with me, it'd be easier for them to judge that next one coming out. You know what I mean? So I kind of always put that in the back of my head, and I'm just trying to be at least an example or some type of sample of what, you know, guys that really want to do right when they come home have the potential of doing and will do and can show you better than what they could tell you. You know, so it definitely made
So,
me feel wonderful when I was out there with my kids and giving them work ethics as well, out there selling bottled waters.
right. So how does that work with your communication with whichever prison or jail that you work with as far as getting these monies to the incarcerated men? How does that work?
Well, basically now, I've been doing this since 2015. However, though,
Mhm.
I've been doing it out of my own funding by, going out there selling bottled waters or selling T-shirts and giving proceeds from that stuff to those guys. And now, since November of 2020, I'm actually a 501c3 nonprofit now, whereas though I can get grant money. I just received a grant the other day. My first grant I received. It's a mini grant, but it's something that gives me more hope to know there's many more to come. So like I say, when I was funding it myself, it was a burden on myself, because I had overwhelming of people and I got to put them on the waiting list if I don't got the money coming in, to pay them that $50 a month. That roster could get kind of high per month if you got 10 to 15 people that you got to pay $50 a month to, because they depending on what you told them you're gonna do for them. So what I do is, like I say, either if they're in a state facility, then I send them their money through JPay, um, which is
Can you explain what
automatic.
that is? The JPay?
JPay, yeah, JPay is for all state residents that's incarcerated. Actually, you pay online with whatever spread that they're at using their state number and their first name. And that's how you find them on the little JPay. It's an app, and you put money on their account, and that they're able to either use that money for their phone bill account or their commissary account. You know what I'm saying? Which they can make phone calls or buy stamps to write letters or to buy food from the commissary. And when you're dealing with the federal system, though, the federal system guys that I have, I do Western Union. Western Union, you have to go there and do the Western Union thing and let them know FBOP, which is Federal Bureaus of Prisons, and put the money in that way. Um, Guys that's in regional jails, like awaiting their trials and stuff like that, I can go directly to the jail, or the jail might have a website for the facility that they in, to put money on their books. Um, and that's basically the ways that I send it. They don't do the money order thing no more, like when you just send money orders out to people, for their commissary and stuff. That's kind of old tech. It's technology now, so they don't got to do it like that no more.
How did you feel when you received confirmation of that first grant?
It was just yesterday. It ain't even really hit me all the way yet. I thanked God, because I am a God believing man. So I thank God, and then I actually called my partner, who I'm partnershiping with on this particular grant, and this grant it really hit my heart a little bit because it's for the youth. This grant is something that we're gonna be launching off starting May 10th, called Incarceration Prevention, where we're gonna be able to get into the youth minds and try to tell them the ropes that they can go between the ages of 12 and 18 years old, who we will be working with in the poverty area of Southeast DC in the Ward 8 community. And the partner that I have with is the Right Foundation. However, though, we're able to kind of get the guys now and show them, it's different resources and different ways to make money now. You don't have to be a kingpin to make good money, or you don't have to try to sell drugs or be robbing people to make money. You have different resources now as a black young man. They're giving us all types of resources and jobs and independent contractor ways of making money, entrepreneurship, and we also gonna be able to get them kind of a little bit of financial literacy on how to spend their money. So they don't always got to think they got to make so much money, to hang with the Joneses. You know what I'm saying? So, that it, that grant, this particular grant, you know what I'm saying, it means a lot because, like I say, it's in another field that I haven't been dealing with as far as for the youth, and it does start with the youth of incarceration. Because you got to think, I started going to jail when I was at the age of 16. So, if I wouldn't have went to jail at 16, maybe I wouldn't have chose that life. Maybe I got used to it a little bit illusionally. You know what I mean? When I went that first time. And so we just trying to change that narrative of the young ones, of the kids. And then my partner, she has
Right.
something what she's gonna bring to it. It's called Teen Summit, where she has 10 young females that she's actually gonna be working with that's youth between the ages of 12 and 16. And she's gonna give them like feminine ways of treating your feminine as a woman, showing them how to cook, how to go grocery shopping with just $25 to feed a family of four, show them how to open up bank accounts, get them some job literacy,
Mm.
um, show them how to do their resumes. And that's her baby. That's why I'm glad that I'm partnering with her, and she's the great person to partner with because that's what she does as far as this Teen Summit thing that she has going on. And like I say, it's just a blessing that I'm able,
Oh,
to get the grant, get approved, get rewarded the grant.
yeah. I want to touch on that some more, but before we do, can you tell everybody about your $2 Tuesdays and how do you vet whichever incarcerated people? How do you know which people to give the $2 Tuesdays to? But can you explain that?
Yeah, $2 Tuesdays is something that we do each and every Tuesday. And what we do is we raise $2. It's kind of from my background. I have a promotion background from when I had a promotional company from 2005, 2011. So some people are familiar with Taco Tuesdays and other things on Tuesdays, but we made it a little twist to it and call it $2 Tuesdays. Where we ask everybody on social media that's following us or that know us to donate $2, and that $2 goes to a less fortunate, honorable male or female that's currently incarcerated. And what we do is we raise all that money and we give those proceeds from that money to less fortunate, honorable men and women that's currently incarcerated. And by me saying honorable,
Mhm.
that's something that we go by, meaning that that person that we're sending that money to, they get screened. We make sure that they have integrity, that they do have remorse of their charge that they have been convicted on, and they're not trying to say I ain't do it, but knowing they did do it. So it's kind of a chosen pick of people that we deal with that has to meet our criteria, and we just basically ask them certain questions on their applications. Have they committed certain crimes? Like, had their crime been committed due to a child, or due to a woman, or due to an elderly person, or rape, or things that jailhouse and prison rules go by, that usually those guys is guys that people don't really deal with. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mhm.
some of those guys never have remorse because they still try to lie about what their charge is. They won't tell you what they're actually being convicted of. They still try to say, I'm convicted of this or that, you know what I'm saying? And not really taking full responsible of what they've been charged with. So that's why I feel that the integrity come in that, and if you don't got that, then I just can't help you. That's just how it is.
Exactly. Integrity is huge. And someone who doesn't take acceptance, I can see, I'm glad that you do have that vetting system so you can pretty much navigate because other than that, it's like they're getting over. So
Yeah, yeah, most
good
definitely.
for you.
And like I say, I done had one, not more than one, but a couple more than one, then try me, then try to say that they didn't commit this certain type of crime. But when I do a 30-day screening on them and I found what they actually charged for, they don't be able to be eligible. You know what I'm saying? But because you gotta understand, you're gonna deal with that when you have a great service that you provide. You're gonna have people that's trying to beat the system. You know what I'm saying? And try to lie their way through. So we have a great um screening procedure, whereas though we see what their charges are and see what they actually been convicted of, and we also don't deal with the guys or the women that been actually government witnesses. To get somebody a whole bunch of time or something. We kind of
Oh,
don't deal with
really?
them. Yeah, because we feel like that's not integrity as well. That's like, you got yourself caught up in something, and usually 9 times out of 10, when somebody actually works for the government or goes to testify against somebody for the actual government, they're actually just trying to get themselves out of trouble, and they actually usually be lies with or what they're talking about of the other person to get the other person convicted. So we don't feel like that's integrity as well. You know what I'm saying? That's like, you trying to get a get out of jail free pass, but telling a story on someone else that didn't get caught for what they got caught for. But you want to make up something. And usually, as I be hearing that, the government and stuff, they teach the witness on how to speak and what to say to
Really?
convict the person that they're, being a witness on.
Huh. So it would be as okay, well, they snitched, so we don't give money to them.
Yeah, basically, if they, because snitching really is not about just snitching. It's about going to the full capacity of snitching, meaning that you actually getting on oath and you getting on stand and you're making a testimony against someone to get them 100 years or 40 years just by your testimony that you already been
Hmm.
scripted and trained to say or what you need to say. We don't feel like that's integrity if somebody does that to somebody else just to save themselves. That's selfishness, I believe, as well. So it's like, you know, I keep it all the way 100 on how I just want to run my business since I'm 100% owner of my nonprofit. It's just certain criterias that I feel that has to be met. Or it's
Hmm.
like anybody can do it. And you don't want to just have something that's so great for just anybody, So we make sure that we have integrity involved in that honorable. That's why we always say honorable incarcerated males and females.
Right, right. So going back to the grant, I loved on some of the paperwork that you forward to me. I loved how you had let me pull it up, talking about community impact programs. And I'm going to read some off the list if you don't mind. May I?
Yes, I love for you to read it off the list. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, good. Let me get into it. So some of the so for all who's listening, this is some of the things that this brother and his organization covers. Community impact programs, meaning transportation for families, financial support to inmates in need, reentry support programs. Can you explain that? The reentry support programs?
Yes, well, we have something that's called elevation, the elevation program. The elevation programs, what it does is it helps guys that's either still in that has about 3 months left on their sentence that's about to come home to society.
Mhm.
We allow them to, they are eligible to use our services when they're 3 months on their way home. Basically, what it would do, it would give them mental awareness of their mental, because a lot of guys that's been incarcerated, we don't understand that we have mental problems from what we seen in there and what we've been delusional thinking to get us in there. So we just never will accept that. So we got, we partner with mental awareness companies, mental health companies, and allow them to do their job with, these men and women that doesn't even know that they have mental issues. So,
I
that's
love
one.
that. I love it.
Yeah, that's a big issue, because I dealt with it myself. Sometimes you go and you be like, man, I don't need no mental health or nothing. I'm good. I'm straight. But you're not even knowing you got a lot of things that you then kept inside that then turned into more than what you just can think of that it is. But it's always something that could be triggered to make you do other things. So when you get into mental strategies and mental awareness of knowing yourself, then you can kind of like know how to turn or let things out a little more, so you won't have to get triggered on this thing or get triggered on that. You'll kind of know yourself. You know what I'm saying? You'll know kind of what to stay away from. So it's almost like you won't put yourself in that position to trigger yourself because you know what triggers you. And most of us don't actually take the time to understand what triggers us or what knows what's wrong with us. We always think we good, even though we just did 20 years in prison. You know what I'm saying? But we good though, so
And you know what, Black folks, and I'm speaking on Black folks because I'm a Black woman talking to a Black man. We are good for saying, oh, I'm good. I'm good. It's all right. I'm good. Knowing damn well
exactly.
we
Exactly.
get
Knowing them
triggered.
demons. Yep. Yes, ma'am.
I've been
So
that person. I get it. I really
I've
do.
been it too. I plead I say yes. I'm guilty on that. I have been that person to tell people that I don't need no help. I don't need nobody trying to tell me what I need to do in my life. This is my life. You know what I'm saying? I done did all that stuff. I
Right.
talked all that stuff. But when I actually took mental health and actually had my family participated in it with me, it actually
Did
helped me. You know what I'm
you?
saying? Yeah, I'm
That
doing
is,
mental health right now. I do mental health once a month right now for the last year. For the last 13 months, I've been doing mental therapy.
I love it. I love it. Being incarcerated is traumatic, and events that led up to it. I'm thinking, I mean, that's trauma. Why wouldn't someone get some kind of therapy or counseling for that? And then you have your family. That is amazing. Mm.
Yeah, because you got to think the family is more affected, I believe, than the actual person, especially
Why
when
do
you
you
have
say
young
that?
kids involved. Because when you got young kids involved, say you got to go away for 4 years, that's 4 years out of that young kid's life or who they used to look up to is just gone. They don't have them around. So now they go look at someone else to give them that same love. And that same love might be some fake love for somebody that has a motive to just groom them into the way that they want them to be. So by you being incarcerated somewhere, you can't do nothing over the phone. But I mean, you can communicate over the phone, but you can't be hands-on with your son or your daughter that really need a cry for help. So I know for a fact all my kids was affected by my incarceration. I'm a prime
Mm.
example of that. You know what I'm saying? When I was incarcerated and I left my kids for those 4 years, a lot of my kids they had to deal with their own mental issues, their own anger issues on their own because I'm not there no more. They especially when they get used to somebody or something, they get used to it. So it definitely affects the kids, and the kids definitely need the mental awareness while their parent is incarcerated and also
Yeah.
post incarceration because now we gotta get to know each other again. We gotta know what you've been doing the last 4 years that I missed. And I'm here and I'm trying to tell you what not to do and what to do, but I don't even know what you've been doing. So you gotta get back to back to knowing each other. So you know that's what therapy and stuff like that comes in place because you got now a narrative, narrative to let a narrative or whatever lets you know what the other one's feeling and how the other one's feeling and what this one is feeling. You have somebody, a middleman, basically, that can kind of, hear this point of view and hear that point of view and then make a solution to it off their professional skills that they got a degree in, you know what I'm saying, to implement on, to fix your relationship. So I feel that that's very, 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 very important. You know what I'm saying? Mental health awareness. If you don't have the mental right, you're almost gonna crash. You know what I'm saying? Because your mental is not right. So we gotta attack that. We gotta attack our mentals. Our mental is very important. We gotta attack that. I'm a firm too. It's a must.
Whatever you did to your audio, it sounds like 1,000,000% better. Whatever you did, don't move.
I'm not.
It sounds excellent. Let me tell you this story. So I've been listening to your not you, excuse me. I've been listening to this podcast called Ear Hustle. Remember I mentioned it earlier. And it gave me such a different perspective on incarcerated people, when I was much younger, like way long time ago, I would be judgy, but I didn't know any better. But now, well, definitely with my mindset now, I'm not judgy because you just never know what people have gone through. So speaking of the mental awareness, this incarcerated man, he was very angry. Even the inmates were saying like he's angrier than most, and he didn't trust anyone at all. So he went to therapy and he started having these flashbacks. I forgot what triggered it, but he was having these flashbacks from when he was 6, 7 years old. He remembered his mom. Oh, let me tell you one more thing. He hated women, and he committed a violent crime against a woman. That's why he was incarcerated. So he said he had flashbacks that his mother tried to drown him twice.
Mm.
Yes, once when he was 3, which he didn't remember. Family members told him that, but he vividly remembers when he was 7 years old. And he remembered he was crying out to his mom to stop. And then next thing you knew, he had water because she was submerging him and she tried to dunk him about 3 times. So then she just stopped, brought him out the water, and just started crying. And that was the last time he saw his mother ever. So now he has these abandonment issues. He didn't trust women, and I don't know what the exact crime was, but it was violence towards women. So through therapy, he found out that it was anger towards his mother.
Mm.
And he said he regrets that he didn't get therapy sooner because he feels like if he did, he probably would not have committed that violent act towards whatever woman this was, whoever she was to him. It was someone he knew.
Mm.
So he is an avid mental health awareness. Even right now, he's still incarcerated in San Quentin. And he lives by it, and he talks with a lot of integrity like yourself, and an advocate about it. So that's why when you were talking about it, that just made my soul vibrate, because once you identify the problem and issue is when you can start to heal. I say that every time before I go live. It's a fact.
It's a fact.
Doesn't matter.
It's definitely a fact. I
Yeah.
agree.
So anyway, I love everything that you do. We're gonna go over a couple more items on your list. And
Okay.
everyone, if you feel moved, well, first of all, I definitely want you to visit James's website. I have it on the ticker tape scrolling. Visit it. And if you feel moved, contribute, contact him. He's very accessible. He returns all my DMs and text messages immediately. So I urge you to do the same. There's another program on here that I really loved. Let's see.
Is it the right to counsel? That's the one I love the best.
Oh, let's talk about it. And I'm looking at it right now. So James just said the right to counsel. It's a program that offers honorable inmates up to 20 grand to retrieve sufficient counsel for representation in legal matters and trauma-centered training to document acts of good faith. Let's talk about it.
Yes, that right there is something that I believe is very, very important as well. That comes second against the mental awareness. Because when you got these young guys, or you got guys that's even adults, that's grown men, they get these court-appointed lawyers that has a caseload of maybe 100 other cases. And it's just no way that they're going to be able to pay attention to your case. It's just no way. So we have a lot of guys or women that's going through this process once you enter the system, that all they hear is just take this plea deal. This plea deal for 10 years. And if you don't take this plea deal, if you go to trial, they're going to give you 30 years. Because that's how the system works. They go give you a plea for 10. I'm just saying an example, 10 years. So by these court-appointed lawyers, they want to hurry up and try to get the most people off their caseload that they possibly can do. So I feel like a lot of people is being handicapped by that. You know what I'm saying? And it been going on for that. It's been going on for a long time of that because they don't have the right counsel to represent them that knows of what the crime that they actually committed, if they gonna actually be convicted of the crime that they're charging them for, or is they convicted of, or is it a good choice to not take the plea? They're not getting that type of representation.
I can't hear you. Your audio went out.
Yeah, my phone had rang. My bad. Can you hear me now?
I sure can.
They're not getting that type of representation. So when we give up the $20,000 to take care of 5 either guys or women that's either going to trial, that's trying to come back on a appeal, like maybe been down for the last 20 years, but their actual time that they took that plea 20 years ago, they done found out they took the wrong thing and they really are innocent, but they didn't already sign to this plea, because once you sign to a plea, usually 9 times out of 10, you waive your rights of an appeal. So you're not able to go back in court because you signed that plea and you waived your rights to appeal what you signed.
My
So
God.
I feel that that's when you hear about all these guys and all these women that's getting exonerated. You know, after all these years, the DNA was wrong, and you know they let them out after 35 years serving. They was actually innocent this whole time. You know what I'm saying? So I feel that to trying to spark the change of that to even occur, you have to give people the right representation. Not saying that the public offenders is wrong or bad. They just have too much volume on their desk. They have too many clients that they got to deal with.
Right.
So the right to counsel, like I say, it's starting small by just using 5 guys or women that's currently going to trial or trying to come back home on the appeal. But up to 20,000 is usually what it takes to handle a strong case. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
So, yeah. Yes, it usually is $20,000, and don't nobody have $20,000. So that's why, like I say, you can go in prisons right now, and I'm sure it's about 50% of those guys and women that's in there, they took a plea for a crime that they didn't even do, or what they've been charged for. But they took a plea deal just so they won't get the maximum deal. You know what I mean? Just so they won't get the maximum sentence. And I feel like that's unfair. I feel like that's not fair. You know what I'm saying? So the right to counsel is definitely a big one to me. That's number 2.
You know, I am manifesting that 20 grand is going to go up 40, 60, 80. We want that number to go up. I'm claiming it for you already for the future.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Oh, yes.
Talking into existence.
You have to. Because if you don't, who's going to do it for you?
Real talk. That's facts.
It all facts. We're going to start wrapping it up. I could talk to you literally all night. I love your fire. I do. Before we get off, 2 more things. Can you talk about this pilot program you have going on? The honorable car?
Yeah, the honorable car is basically what we're going to give these guys that's coming home. Housing. Housing is one of the biggest things that people that's coming home back into society are stuck with. You can't go to a rental office saying you just came home from prison, but you got the money to get into your apartment. They're going to deny you. That's just a known fact. The property manager or whoever's dealing with the manager stuff, they're going to see that you're a felon, and they're not going to accept you. So we came up with this thing called housing, where we got different transitional homes that's partnered with us that we'll be able to pay for that person that's just coming home 6 months worth of their rent so they can kind of get on their feet. You know what I'm saying? Instead of having that burden on them to trigger them. Like I say, a trigger is all what takes usually to make more of a crime. A trigger. A small little trigger, it can change the whole world. I mean, can change the whole mindset of somebody doing something either right or wrong. So
Facts.
So what we're doing is, with the housing, we're giving guys and women opportunity to be able to get on their feet if they do get a job and not have that burden on them of trying to find somewhere to stay, because they send people to the shelters, they send people to that relative house that you know you don't like, and you know she don't like you or he don't like you, but you ain't got no choice, so you try to make it work, and you go over there, you got to hear all this, don't take the shoes off when you walk in the house. It's almost like you back in jail. So that could
Yeah.
be a burden, and that could be a trigger on somebody to do, because the goal is here is to stop recidivism. That's to stop people coming back that's been released going right back to prison. So I feel that all the governments, all the people that has all this funding and money, they need to give money to be able to give these guys an actual chance. How can you win with no chance? Or all these things that you got to go against? It's set to not win. So that's what the whole Honorable Cobb program is all about. That Honorable Cobb program is also something that I love as well. I love all the programs, but it's certain ones that just key points to it.
It's making that soul vibrate, right?
Yeah, real talk. I that's why I get so passionate and so much of, you know, me, of just being a fan of my own self sometimes, of the certain things that I know people actually need that nobody's talking about, that actually helps and that will actually give better results of the stop of the recidivism. You have to give people chances to make a change.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I don't want to go all the way too far with it, but yeah, that's how I feel about the Honorable Car program, the pilot program, and also with that program, we're going to be partnering with a mental a doctor that made her own diagnosis of it's called trauma instead of trauma. It's called trauma. What she says, most people
Drama.
that's been incarcerated,
D
trauma,
drama.
T-H trauma, Trauma instead of trauma. It's trauma.
I never heard of that. Can you explain that and spell it again?
Yeah, she's based out of you can look her up. She's based out of Dallas, Texas. She's been using this actual diagnosis. She's a doctor. She's been using this out there in Dallas, Texas, and been successful. It's a diagnosis that she's figured out to be coming from guys and females that's been incarcerated before, and she calls it trauma. So what we're trying to be is we're trying to be a pilot out here in the DC area with that actual program, which is trauma, which they'll be able to get that type of services for them to fix all that trauma that she calls. It's like a whole program that she has for it. And then what's the great part about it? Once you are a client of hers, she teaches you to teach others so that you can be certified to teach others about trauma.
Wow. Wait, can you spell that one more time?
It's Trauma. Trauma.
Wow. I never heard of that.
Yeah. Yeah, her name is Dr. Sandra Smith.
Let me put that in the comment section so I can go back. I don't want to forget that.
And she's a sister.
Even better. Dr. Sandra Smith.
Yes.
Trauma.
Trauma. And what I do, I send you over some a copy of her program so you can actually see the video of how she diagnosed people with that. I email it over to you. And you can
Please
watch
do. Please do. So let's start wrapping it up. Can you just give us, or because this is an audio, there's too much clicking. There we go. Yes. Can you tell us what other new horizons you have for incarcerated males and females?
Yes. We have something that we're about to launch off, which my fiance is coming out with. She's gonna be doing Incarcerated Moms Matter. She's going to be launching that off very soon because she was actually incarcerated with me in 2012 and was pregnant with my youngest son when she was incarcerated due to my indictment. And she's basically coming out the shell now. She wants to, start to talking to people what she had to do. She had to do 9 months in jail while she was pregnant. So she want to, speak on that So we're definitely I'm a supporter the best way I can with that. And yeah, that should be launching off sometime this month, I believe. Mother's Day that'd probably be a good day to launch it. But yeah, she actually just came up with that, so that's something that we're putting in existence right now. And like I say, we have the teen summit and the incarceration prevention program for the youth that's coming up on May 10th. Um, and then we also we're trying to get into the school systems where we can start to attack some of these younger guys that's in this area in Maryland and DC that's actually gang members that's you know getting recruited as a young age. They usually recruit at sixth grade, so we'll try to get into some of those actual active gang members, um, actual head, get in their head, and try to tell them the right way to go and give them some opportunities, take them out to a couple, amusement parks and things like that. Take them out of their known environment, what they just know about. That might be a change for that. So we got that project coming up. We're going to continue the books, as far as putting money on people's books. As soon as the prisons open back up, we're gonna start back our transportation for visitation, where we take the families to the prisons that's no more than 5 hours away from the DC area for free, with no charge, to visit their loved ones. We're gonna continue that. We've been doing that since 2015, but the pandemic kind of messed the visitation up. What more we got? We just gonna continue to apply pressure. I'm always open to other people that's coming aboard with us, the partnership. I'm open for partnership. I'm open for other funders. We have a donation, a closed donation partnership that we're launching, that's starting on Friday, where every pound of clothes that we get donated to us, we get 20 cents to go to a less fortunate honorable inmate. So we're doing
really that. Wow.
Then it's probably more things that I'm forgetting. I'm just trying to go off the top of my head right now, but it's a lot of things that we're gonna be doing, and we're gonna just continue to apply pressure, and we're gonna just continue to try to change the narrative of how they look at incarceration.
Since you can't think of everything, that means you have to come back.
Oh, I can come back part 2, part 3, part 4. Whenever you call me, Ursula, I'm here. I'm ready. I will be in my office where I ain't got to worry about the audio going out or nothing. And I'm definitely with that, and I'm saying that right here on your show. So hold me to that. I will take accountability of that, of what I'm telling you. Part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, whatever. I'm with it.
Let's get it. I'm so with it. I have so many things I want to just pick your brain about, but I won't be selfish and do it all tonight. But for sure, I would definitely love to have you come back for sure. I love your mind, your progressive mind. Well, fix your audio. It's clicking.
Yeah, the audio kind of messing up now.
Yeah, we'll get off
up at the end.
Right. But yeah, I do love your progressive mind and how you look out for the brothers and sisters. It's amazing. Any parting words?
Yeah, continue to be legendary, and wear your mask. And definitely follow us. If you want Instagram, we on Instagram. Our Instagram page is incarcerated_lives_matter_ENT. And that can show you a lot of the posters that we've been doing since 2015 of what we do for the incarceration. So there's nothing new. We've been doing this. We just now have a 501c, so now we can probably make more things and enhance our things to go more to different states instead of just this DC, Maryland, Virginia area. And just continue to pray for me and continue to keep me in mind whenever you thinking about, or what you look at somebody that's been incarcerated before. We're all not bad. It's great ones out. It's greater guys to be that's on their way home. So, just keep that in mind. And I love the show. I love the whole show that you got going on here. I love it, Ms. Ursula. Thank you. I appreciate it. Girls getting their shift together. I love that.
Black girls getting their shift together.
That's what I'm talking about. Black girls getting their shift
together. That's if you say it real fast, you might sound like you're saying the other word, but you won't. You know what I'm saying? It's black girls getting their shift together. I love it. I love it.
But the genesis of that is because I had to get my shit together for real, for real. Hey, I'm just being honest. I had to get my shit together. Like everything was good, but why not be great? I had to get my shit together for real, for real. So, and in turn, my shift got together. And here I am right now. But
yes, man.
Oh, one more thing.
You're doing a phenomenal job.
Thank you. But James, one more thing.
Yes, ma'am.
You have definitely qualified as a black man that has his shift together.
Okay. Yes.
Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. This was wonderful. When I say I was excited for this interview, the fire that this brother brings, even like talking to him when we initially talked, I was ready for the interview to happen that night, but I had to patiently wait for a month. But I definitely want to have you come back. But you have a good evening. Everyone, thank you for tuning in. Make sure and tune in next week. I have the lovely Alicia Cutting coming on, and we're going to talk about radical self-care. You all have a good evening. I love you all. Take care. And thank you for everyone who had tuned in to say hello.
This for the queens, sisters manifesting their dreams. Get your cream by any means and beam with self-esteem. Beauty supreme and Buddha walk so mean. The way you fit in them jeans, you eat your cornbread and greens. Dance or a doctor, red wine or vodka. Redesign your spot and redefine your mantra. Retwist your locks and realign your chakras. Doing your squats and getting closer to God, huh? Brunching with your squad or taking a girl's trip. Adjust your crown, you God's gift to the world, sis. Celestial body, drink your water. Meditate, sun kiss goddess, heavenly order. Levitate, tribe of Ashanti, black girl magic, melanin popping, whether you ratchet or lavish, whether you bougie or savage, you a gift and a treasure. You got to love a black girl getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together. These black